You know what? I am going to record this because I think this is going to be a good reference point. And now if I just switch to that, okay, cool, it goes to the other page. Awesome. I'll figure out my new Stream Deck thing to make that a bit more seamless, but we're going to do something I haven't done before yet per se, but I'm going to show you guys the entire process of how I build a campaign. Or at least try to, and it probably won't encompass everything, but I'm going to do my best. So, for those of you that have never tried the game Papers, Please, I'll have to do a bit of explanation here, but for those of you that have, I think you'll recognize what I'm doing almost immediately. So, here's the situation. The Venezuelan Cold War campaign is going to have its last operation on the 16th. Today, it's the morning of the 12th. So, for the past few weeks, ever since I saw a video, which was a full playthrough of a game from a few years ago called Papers, Please, I got infatuated with it. I literally listened to like a 4 or 5 hour playthrough or something while I was doing editing work, and I fell in love with the with the lore of it, and I thought, you know, there's stating that there's some sort of 6-year war here. Let's do that in Arma, you know. Let's see what we can do to make that into Arma. So for the past week and a half, I've been working with a player named Army Ranger, who's within the TSP community. We've been gathering a lot of information on, you know, the countries, the two belligerents, because it was so there was a civil war between Kolechia and Arstoska, which I'm gonna butcher those names, so I apologize in advance. But there was a 6-year war, which upon research we deemed that this could go like one of two ways. We're gonna go down one option, but I will talk about the other option that's a possibility. But you know, there was a 6-year war, and in that there was this border town called Gretchen, which we're going to say is going to be our Beketov. So I'll have to, you know, rename this. I'm not going to be able to actually physically change the name, but I'll cross it out and just say it's Gretchen. But it was quote-unquote reclaimed by Arstoska. So this is going to be a 6-year war to basically not only, you know, take half of the town back, but, you know, take some other territory to make this I want to say a 6, maybe 8 mission campaign. It'll really depend on how the player base does. So the point of this stream and this recording, because I'm gonna upload it whole, is I'm gonna walk you guys through my process here of how do I take an idea and turn it into something like you know, like what the humanitarian Fallujah ops are right now. How do I write that all up and make it into something crazy, you know? So, basically all that background research has been for deciding what we're going to do for the campaign and the map selection. And I'm going to be tabbing out to one of my monitors to Google some stuff to show you my thought process of it. So the first part, I won't even be touching too much of the Eden editor. I'm kind of just going around to show, you know, terrain I'm going to be using. Now, I will say this. If I had the opportunity, I would actually not want to do it in the town of Beketov. I would actually prefer a much more urbanized city, something like Fallujah or Mogadishu. But the issue is there's actually a lot of plot holes here, which we'll talk about in the research we got. But Arma 3 has a lot of great maps, but it's not for all of the terrain. I looked into some maps, and the only maps that would work really, really well were also the maps that are really, really buggy right now, and that's some maps from Ironfront. And this goes into the other possibility of where when we were going to do the 6 Years War, but I settled on a Cold War scenario rather than what would have been World War II style scenario. And that's let's talk about the first plot hole here. And for this, I'm actually going to tab out, and we're going to look at a wiki page here. Show you guys the process. So this is a page. Oh, come on. No, display work, damn it. Why you no work? Come on. Let me guess, it's because Arma is... I know exactly what the issue is. It's because Arma is full screened in the thingamajig. So I'd have to use my other monitor, which would be weird. But of course, when I tested, I didn't have Arma on because it just worked fine. What to do? Because it's displaying, it's just not displaying the right thing. But I could just quit out of Arma to talk about it. It's not like I'd be streaming any passwords, because watch this. If I quit out, let me now hide my task manager. It's supposed to display now, but it looks like it doesn't even want to do that. So rest in pieces, my display monitor. Literally working 20 seconds ago. When Liru wants to do something cool and something stupid happens. Yeah, so that's the other monitor. Nothing important was just streamed, right? No, it wasn't. Okay. So why isn't it... fuck it. We'll do it. We'll do it on the other one. Screw it. Which means I'll have to switch sides and stuff. That's okay. That's okay. We can make this work. It's not hard. Just means I'm gonna have to switch a lot of windows here, but hey, again, we can definitely make this work. It just means there's gonna be a lot of transition time, but I think it's important to show you guys my process here. Even though I find it really weird that it's not showing that. But okay, other monitor. The monitor that usually has the stream chat on. Giggity. So here's the first issue with where we could have taken this campaign in two places. So, you know, it talks about the 6-year war, you know, a conflict between Arstoska Kolechia, blah, 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 papers, please, details are vague, but, you know, it doesn't really give you an official time frame. All you know is the year of the game. You don't know if this happened 6 years before, you know, so 6 years ago it was 1976, or if it was even earlier than that. And this is where the biggest plot point comes in, because what else was 6 years? Watch. World War II. How many years? And now if we were to go into papers, please. The one I really liked to see was this one, for example. I thought this was really well drawn, but it kind of draws it into, you know, how, like, there's, you know, Crimea Peninsula's over there and stuff. There was a better one, this one. This is the one I put on Twitter. It shows it in this time frame, and this, you know, was a heavy battleground area in World War II. So, papers like this could have either happened in World War II, or it could be a Cold War scenario. That's the thing I'm trying to get at here, because, you know, the other obvious thing is that the town of Gretchen is a metaphor for Germany, specifically Berlin, you know, East and West Berlin. So, you know, and then the border checkpoint and the border wall, the Berlin Wall, you know, it could go either way. It's literally a fusion between stuff that, you know, in the past happened in World War II, or the 6 Years' War could have been something even earlier. So that was the first divide, because if I went with World War II, I'd have access to Iron Front and maps like the one of the current ones they're working on, which is whatchamacallit, I'm gonna also restart Arma on my other monitor, but I'm blanking on it. The Berlin map, Jesus, because I just said the word. So there were two ways I could take this, and I had to draft out a lot of write-ups for both ones. I ended up settling on a Cold War scenario, simply because Iron Front's being really, really buggy right now, at least for us. B, I've been pushing for a new Cold War mod set, and I think this would be a really, really cool setting to test it on and see. It's really easy to do a World War II scenario for this compared to a Cold War scenario, because with the addition of Unsun, it would make this a lot, and I mean a lot, more creative. So this is what I'm getting at here in terms of the research-esque I want to do here. So we're going to switch back now to Arma 3. Now I gotta switch all my stuff over. Stream will begin shortly, blah blah blah. I just want to show off the build process. Why is that so hard? We're gonna scroll down back to Bekatov. Phone's done charging, so I can unplug that. Now we let it load. 3:23 a.m. morning Liru. I'll be honest, I didn't get that much sleep last night. Bloodwayne told me I should clean up my room and fix my life, quote unquote, so I did everything she told me. Even though she also told me to go to bed, so. Now this is where we run into some issues. Because of quite a few things here. Number one, there is actually in the game a picture of the town of Gretchen, which really confuses me because the border, I'll show you what the border does. It goes kind of left to right diagonal, even though in the main map it's the other way, but it labels things wrong. And I guess the best way to show that is, let me see if I can pull it up. We'll go back to the other monitor real quick. So we'll open that up. We'll go back to scene 1. Let's see. Please, Gretchen. Wow, I butchered that spelling. My God, it's Grestin. My bad. But here's the issue. So here's a picture of the town, and it says that this is the Arstoska side. Arstoska side. This is the town of or the Kolechia side, Kolechia side. Yet, if you go back to this map right here, we can actually pull up a map where it has the separation of the two towns. I just have to find the damn thing. See, and then some maps they label it like down there. Other maps they put it right there. But the point is, most maps they usually put it in the north and south area. You know, kind of like right in there. And the issue is that means that this map shouldn't look like this. This line should be the other way or something. And yet this is the border. So right there we have a discrepancy between stuff in game, which bugs me. Then again, like this isn't even from the game. I'm pretty sure that's from the fan rendition. So, you know, that's not officially canon. So this picture I'm not really gonna reference off of, you know what I mean? I'm gonna stick with what I've got from, you know, these official-esque looking maps, you know? Try my best here. So with that in mind, when we go back into Arma, just a few clicks. For the sake of our operation and the sake of the map, I've been really debating putting the border something like here. Like splitting this block in half, and then we'll have kind of like a north and south and kind of just like try to follow that line. I was also debating using the river, but that would mean that the Arstoska side would be a little smaller than the Kolechia side, and I kind of want there to be more of an imperial, you know, line coming, like cutting in here, you know? However, for the sake of this campaign, we're going to assume that Arstoska kind of overextends, because I also want to use this town and this village up here. And then this airbase is also going to be a big threat. So when we do our territory, let's get our map markers out here. We're going to assign Arstoska as the red color. and Kolechia as the yellow color for now. Now here's the deal. We're going to have to make some sort of initial border. Where do I want these campaigns to start? Now, I'm going to assume, since it said in the previous link that it talked about recapturing, re-annexing the town of Gretchen, which I'm going to label this as right now with, we'll stay with black. So that's going to be the town of Gretchen. Just screw what that says. Kolechia obviously is going to have the entire town of Gretchen because it says that Arstoska recaptures their part. So this is going to be a reconquest war for Arstoska, at least in the research I found. So Kolechia is going to have a lot of the territory controlled right off the bat. So the real trick here is now finding a decent border of where things should be. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated here, because if you notice, now that kind of leaves Gretchen on the border, and that would be an obvious first town to take. And it also means, how do I want to shape this campaign? Hence why I said this could be a 6-mission campaign or an 8-mission campaign. I don't know which way it's going to swing. So what I've been thinking is we're going to probably focus a few ops within the town of Gretchen itself, but we're also going to focus some ops up here, maybe a few up here, but the first operation is probably going to be Arstoska's first strike. Because, again, if this is a reconquest of territory, their casus belli is to, again, recapture their side of Gretchen. The first mission on its own is going to have to be taking out Kolechia's ability to attack. So that's mission 1. There is only one airfield on this map. So, what I think would be a great way to start this campaign is if Arstoska did some sort of air raid from Mi-28s or Mi-24s and took out a fortified Kolechia airbase that defended the territory around. That way, Kolechia would have no offensive capability to attack Arstoska. So, with that being eliminated, this would force Kolechia to play a mainly defensive war, which would open the door for Arstoska to take territory. Now, of course, this opens the door for where I want to put Arstoska's FOB, which is where I'm about to now establish the territory, because I'm trying to get in the backlog of how I want this to be done. So, with that in mind, this is the only airbase on the map, I believe. I could be wrong. I've been checking around this map literally a million times, but I don't believe there's another one anywhere. There's a lot of places you could, like, set up some sort of airbase, but I'm pretty sure, in looking at every little nook and cranny, that this is the only goddamn airbase. There's a weird dip right there for the riverbed that there is on this map. But again, could be wrong. Maybe there's some sort of smuggler position. I know there's a Dalek right there, which I want to keep out of that area. But out of everything that's here, I think that's all. That's all of what we've got. So, here's the deal. Right off the bat, for this campaign, there are not going to be any planes, which I think is going to be a little interesting. This is going to be a helicopter-only fight. I might change that, though, depending on things, because that means I'd have to construct some sort of airbase outside of the map, and I know exactly what asset I would use, but also, this is all relatively flat terrain, which means I could construct an airbase, but we also want to consider how OP assets are going to be. And actually, now that I think about it, I might build the airbase itself, but not in the beginning, at least. We'll take a look at our assets, but let's draw our border now. So we're going to take black dots. I'm thinking, again, referencing back to the previous map, this was kind of like where the border kind of ends up. Something like this. So Arstoska probably will only have the territory down here. So looking at where the border is, something like that, and then we can label Kolechia right there. But really, their focus is going to be expanding north and kind of encircling Gretchen before they hit it, because Gretchen's heavily fortified. The best strategic strategy would be for Arstoska, first, eliminate the airbase. I agree. Take out Kolechia's ability to provide QRF for their territory. Second, I would say, would be most likely hitting these side towns to kind of push the envelope here. What I'd also probably do with Mission 1 is make some other positions in the AO, like key AA positions, artillery, stuff like that. That would all concern Mission 1, and we'd probably store them in the areas around the airbase. But Mission 2 would most likely be taking these side villages. Let's take a look at these villages here. They would probably have fortifications on the border, and we'd probably establish some checkpoints and stuff, but that's how we'd do things. So Mission 2 would be smashing through and taking this area. Mission 3 would concern all of this. Taking this side stuff, further encircling the town of Gretchen. Then Mission 4 would be a bit of a grind. This is where I get iffy on what I want to do here, because we could either try to go for Gretchen, or we could continue north, further encircling the town, but also providing a distraction. Because if we're primarily the offensive guys here, we'd probably want to set up a beachhead somewhere else, because I would say Kolechia would probably expect us to go for Gretchen. So what I would say is we do a risky maneuver and push up and take this stuff to pull forces away for them to reinforce up here, making them think we're going for up here instead. So actually, that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is going to be a quicker mission. It's going to be more of a hit, like how would I say it? So in Mission 3 and 2, where these are more like sweep and clear and hold, this is going to be more like a quick sweep of just go there to spook Kolechia so they pull units out. So this is all concerning Mission 4. Very ambitious, but that's going to be a long mission. Then Mission 5 is going to be piercing the town of Gretchen. And this is where things can get really iffy, because I've been thinking, what if I want to do a butterfly effect scenario here? Because Mission 4 is a very tough mission. That's a lot of ground to cover. That's a lot of quick hitting to deal with. It's going to be difficult. So if that fails, what would they do? I think we'd still go with the attack. Maybe they'd go up here. This is where I might have to get impromptu with the campaign, is what I'm trying to say. Same for Gretchen. They could get bogged down somewhere, and this could become Mission 5 and 6. Easily. But again, I'm going to go for a perfect scenario here. What would happen? Because this is just a general... How would I say it? It's just the general idea of fleshing things out. So that would leave Mission 6 to go up and really just take this stuff. I'd probably include... Nah, this on its own is too much. So we'd probably do Mission 6 would be taking the top left area. So let's actually divide this into districts. Mission 5, 5, 5. This would be 6 with 6. And then they'd probably push up here to establish a perimeter. And this is where things get interesting, because now we could either push left or north. And this is where I start to question, you know, where would we take the campaign? Because they could either go north, we could either slingshot to here, we could swing south. This is where I'm going to stop the planning phase, so to speak. Again, keeping it as a 6-mission campaign, because it could go anywhere. And it's also, at this point, I'd like to gauge where the player base is. If they like the campaign idea, we'd keep going with it. If they don't like it, we'd switch it to something else. But this would be a solid 6-week campaign to start taking us into Green 4 rotation. Even though I'm probably not going to put the player base on as Green 4, but Green 4 rotation, which starts at the end of April officially, is where I take all my ideas that are really outside of the box and throw them into operation, hence this campaign's timing. So, this would be our plot map. This would then mean that the end goal of the campaign, which I'm going to mark in purple, would be something like this. Probably also going to include that town in Mission 6. So, where do we see some discrepancies here? That town, I'm just going to ignore its existence. That would mean that would be the border push from black dot to purple dot. Again, just the goal of taking the town of Gretchen, and then the treaty, or whatever that would be brokered, would divide this area. So Mission 6 would be kind of like the stomping point, but, you know, this would end up getting pulled back into something like this, but this would become like the new border, you know? I think that would be interesting. So with that done, campaigns planned out, 6 missions, okay, decent. Other things we have to consider, loadouts, enemy loadouts, spawn base, special features, Easter eggs, yada-da, the works. So, if we reference back to our picture, we would know that this is done mainly in Ukraine. Again, one of the perks of picking Bekatov, it's Ukraine. So we'd have to use, if we're saying that this campaign happened in the 1970s, we'd have to use 1970s-esque gear. And this is where the, we're not going to use Unsun flags, but this is where the real fun of including Unsun into this pack comes in. Because we have a lot of options for how we can make the player base work. The issue, though, is diversity and weaponry, but I think both Kolechia and Arstoska would have similar weapons, similar loadouts. There wouldn't really be that much of a difference in discrepancy, because this is all Eastern Europe, Eastern Europe, so all Russian-based stuff, so stuff is going to be similar. It's just, do I want to, I'm probably going to give Arstoska slightly better equipment than Kolechia. And the reason for that is when you look at all the statistics for the game, it says that Arstoska's economy is 10 times better, give or take. Or it's, you know, they're using hyperboles, but Arstoska is better off than Kolechia. Whether or not that is because of the war or because of the aftermath, I don't know. But I'm going to take that logic, take that mindset, and apply it to this campaign, because I don't have anything else to base it off of. So, with that in mind, we're going to build 2 sets of loadouts now. One is going to be our faction, which, since we're still... This is, again, where things get interesting. I think I'm going to build us as Op 4, because Arstoska's not really the good guy here. They're a crazy fascist country, so it kind of reigns with me to put them as these dudes. Plus, that lets me put independence, since we can talk about base factions here. So they would be, I'm going to use them as Russians for base template, so they speak Russian. I'm going to do the same thing for Green 4, which will play as our Kolechia, but it's going to be the Cherno-Russian Defense Force. But they're going to speak Russian, but this will make sure that people's heads are Russian, they speak Russian for both factions, and it also lets me use Blue 4 for 2 key things in this campaign, which I'll get into. The first being, I'm going to have a United Federation element, and I'm going to have an NZIC element, and this is where we also start branching off into the possibility for the Tier 3s, since again, this is going to be a Tier 1 campaign for TSB, which means it's going to be offered to anyone that's done basic training, so it's our basic members, really. But there's going to be room for Tier 3s to do, whatchamacallit, spec ops and stuff, and that will be against our Blue 4 factions, and maybe some stuff within Independent. Like, let's say Mission 1, they miss an artillery position. One of the Tier 3 objectives will then be to travel deeper into Kolechia territory and neutralize that artillery position. You know what I mean? So, you know, campaigns like these, it's going to build off of each other. But now this is where we're going to get into the fun here of how we want to build our loadouts. So we're going to take a Russian squad. This is just going to be a Russian infantry squad. So we're going to say MSV, motorized vehicle, people. Sure, why not? And we're going to look at just a regular squad. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I might cut it down to 8, but let's take a look at the squad leader loadout. 1970s is our goal, but I'm going to be using some slightly older equipment here. And then here's another thing regarding clothing and camos. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm probably going to stick with RHS stuff. Or Unsun stuff. I'm just going to try find something that looks good because uniforms in the game don't really get anywhere. Like, I couldn't really find anything, you know what I mean? It's difficult. So, let's look at our gun choice here. I'm going to sort by mod. Now again, RHS, I'm going to really just ignore. Because the weapon choice I want to use is Unsun. Because we're trying to go for the time here. Now, of course, I could just make this AKs and stuff, but again, I want this to kind of be unique. Something that we haven't really done yet. So I'm going to keep us out of RHS. And we're going to go to Unsun for this one. We might do some 3CB stuff, but again, Unsun has the uniqueness of weapons here. This, for example, we can do frickin' drum mag guns and stuff. All this crazy whatnot. So now we're going to start talking about the weapons and the differences here. So, DP-28s, like, I'm going to give Kolechia more World War II-esque style guns, where I'm going to give the player base more Cold War-esque style guns. So guns like the DP-28s, the SKS, which I know is in here. Where is she? The PPS as well. Actually, no, I'm not going to give them that. The player base is going to get that. They're going to get the PPSHs, even though in my opinion the PPSH 41 is better than the 52, but that's neither here nor there. You know, RPDs, SKS is down here. Like, you know, we're forming a difference here between what the what Kolechia is going to get and Arstoska's going to get. And then of course we have SVDs and SVT 40. You know, this will be interesting. So, what do I want the squad leader to have? Let's take a look at our standard AK-47s here. I think we're going to go with AKMs simply so I can give the squad leader kind of a drum, because again, I want some uniqueness here. But I think that should be good. The drum magazine's also pretty fucking dope. Because it's the it's an RPK, but he can also get standard drum ammo if he wants to. Here's the deal though, this guy's only going to spawn with them. They're not going to be in the loadout itself, so if he wants extra, it's only going to have those 30 rounds. So now we're going to make kits. Go with 15. Also, another thing I should look at is possibly changing his field uniform. Again, this is where I kind of want to just be laissez-faire, but we can take a look at some stuff. Now we're going to sort by mod. Because again, the uniforms, it's very difficult, to say the least. Like, Unsun has a lot of Vietnam era stuff, but I would really just prefer to keep it at what we have, you know? Why not? Liru, they kicked me from the TSB Discord. Well, don't do something that'll get you kicked from the Discord. It's not hard. Like, just don't be an idiot. That's the thing. Like, 3 people in the past 5 days. Sorry to sidetrack, but 3 people in the past 5 days have asked me to unban them. 2 of which weren't even banned. 2 of them were kicked. 1 was actually banned. But the stuff I looked at in the audit log, the messages that were put in, it's like, why would you do that in the first place, you know? Like, you said something, like, incredibly racist, and we have a no racism policy. It's so stupid. So fucking stupid. You people need to get brains, is what I'm trying to say. Be respectful. Ugh. But back to working on this stuff. So, 15 bandages, 3 morphine, 3 epi, earplugs, e-tool would be nice. And, I'm gonna be nice and give everyone radios for this campaign. I know that's nonchalant, but I want to take a break because the previous campaign we did it where only squad leaders and team leads had radios. I'm gonna be a bit nicer for this one. Shadow Wolf, thanks for the sub, my dude. I hope you keep enjoying the ops, and I hope you're getting a kick out of this. Now, I already discussed we're going to do night ops, so I'm going to give him a Fulton. We're not going to do IR strobes. I am going to give the squad leader a firing device, though. So he has his morphine, his epi. I'm going to let them have an option to get tourniquets. But I'm thinking, out of all of this is, that's pretty good. So now we're going to go to his vest. I'm going to delete everything in there. That's another thing we have to look at, actually, handguns. Sort by mod. There's a lot of crazy ways we could go with this thing. Trick is we gotta stick with Russian stuff, mainly. We could give him a Scorpion. Something for squad leaders. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Let's see. SKORP on sidearm is a Czechoslovakian 7.65 machine gun pistol. Czechoslovakian, same area. I'm gonna do it. Sorry, Liru, but Hidden Cup 2 just started. T90 official. Alright, I have no idea what that is or who that is, but hey, your time on the internet, my dude. So, looking at this guy, we're going to give him some of these awesome drum mags, and then we're going to go with 2 sidearm. Look at how perfectly that fits. And now this is where things are going to get interesting here. So we got to find something that kind of fits well. Which the Viper pack does. It's a bit more modern, though. Let's see if we can do something a bit better here. So let's actually look under Op 4. These are all the weapon systems and stuff. We could honestly just do Sidors again. Those weren't the, the worst things in the world. But they also have their own version of the backpack here. So what has more room? That or the Sidor? So this backpack seems to have a bit more room. So we'll go with that. So we'll give him 3 more. We'll give him that. Now let's work on utility stuff. And this is where we can also get into some really nice custom grenade stuff. Because again, unsun. So this guy's a squad leader, so I'm going to give him some grenades. We're going to do some chem lights here. I'm going to give him 2, because again, night mission. Actually, no, I'm going to make those optional. They normally had F1s, right? I think we're going to do standard kits here. And then we're just going to let them go crazy. 2 F1s, 2 Fackle. We need some smoke grenades. Like, I'll give them a crate of grenades, and they can, you know, customize however the fuck they want. RDGs. Those things are big motherfuckers, though. I might cave, and we might do BRDs instead, because they're smaller. That should be good. Yeah, righto, Shadow Wolf. Hope you keep enjoying stuff. But I'm thinking, yeah, that should be a good kit. We gave him some explosives, though, which is why I'm tempted to give him some charges here. Then we also have all sorts of traps. We won't really be getting into that. You know, if I were to just put away one of those, instead I could give this guy a demolition block. I think that would work well. So they are op 4. Now, these numbers don't really matter. It's just Unsun gets glitchy with it. And all this we don't really have to worry about. AC-47 remote control map. Binoculars. Should be good. 750 magnification. Perfectly okay. Yeah, it clicks like lags like crazy when I click that list. Face wear would change, and boom, that's what we're gonna have for our squad leader, dude. So our sergeant, I don't even know what that word means. I'm pretty sure it's corporal. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Gonna right click, edit loadout, ace, apply. Ace Arsenal, and instead this guy's gonna get a standard AKM. Actually, is there a Grenadier version of the AKM? I can give you AKM GP25, but then again, it means their ammo won't be interchangeable, because RHS mags and Unsun mags do not work the same. So we might just do that instead. But it doesn't look like there's any GP25 weapons. For any AK variations, which is a bit of a shame, because the Grenadiers, it looks like it comes from carbines and shit, which these things look a bit weird. That's fine. So we'll scroll back up. Look at this puppy, like fucking hell. Alrighty. So we'll go to AKM. Now we just stripped a lot of this dude's ammo. Another question is, should he get the fancy Scorpion sidearm? Which I'm going to say no. I don't think there's really any good. There's a Makarov PM in here. We can utilize that instead. I just clicked out on my monitor like an idiot. Lovely. So recenter the camera just like that. Give him 3 of these, and we'll just literally do that. Easy as pie, and this leaves him room to, you know, put more stuff in his kit if he wants to. And then the backpack, it's whatever he wants to do in here. He's got the explosive charge, so he's that, you know, 2IC. Ooh, another thing I forgot. This is the primary dude, which means he has to have the long range radio. Duh. So we're going to scroll around. Actually gonna be lazy and sort the damn thing. He has to have an MR 3000. which the RHS version seems to fit rather well for his camo, so we're going to utilize that. And it gives him a little bit more room in his inventory for stuff, which is even better. Now, we have our Grenadier. Let me take a quick look at his loadout here. What does he have different? He has a Rifleman UB, and he has an RPG carrier. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I want to keep that AK. So edit loadout, ace, cool. And now we're going to change his stuff up a bit. So backpack, I'm going to switch back to the RPG carrier. Now we could also use this backpack just to change it up. What has a bigger load? Interesting. So look at this. The Unsun stuff has less weight than the RPG carrier, but they have the same load. So I'm actually going to utilize this backpack. Make it cool looking, you know? We can blend some Unsun stuff with some RPG stuff. Why not? Now here's another question. Are we going to use this RPG? Or are we going to use this RPG? Now here's the deal. I am going to have us use RHS RPG rockets, and that is because I'm going to look up the specific dates on these puppies, but I'm pretty sure we could get some variation with OG and tandem rockets. You know what I mean? I know we probably didn't have a thermal barrack by then, but we could probably add some variation and let RPG gunners have some leeway with what rockets they want to pack, because I am all for creativity for these ops, you know? Let people have fun with it, you know, because I have fun building it. So that is how I do things. So for this dude's backpack, I have no idea what he has in it. He doesn't have ammo in it. Oh, he's gonna have all the explosive charges and shit. Let's get rid of that. So he's got 3 rockets. So we'll put the 3 rockets. And he's going to, you know, have the AK. We'll have him keep his handgun. He's going to keep everything else. He's going to have his radio. We're going to say he doesn't have binocs. And now we're going to give this guy just the standard body armor thing like that. Which, doing so is actually going to decrease his load a little bit. But that's okay, because he doesn't have that much in there to say at least. He just needed those 6 magazines. So we're going to boop 2 magazines right there. And then he also needs his grenades, you know? So, we're going to do 2 fackles, 2 F1s. And look at that. Fits perfectly right as rain. So this is his assistant. So what I'm simply going to do is edit loadout, ace interact, apply. And all we're going to do is take away the launcher. But then we're going to go back to backpack. We're going to go to magazines. I'm going to type RPG. And we're going to grab back the 3 Vs for his gun. So literally same kit, except this guy has the RPG and that guy's merely the assistant. Now we get to the machine gunner. This is also going to be interesting for that single stick. I'll have to boop him in an interesting fashion. So for this guy, I'm going to right click, Ace Arsenal. Ooh, another thing I just realized that I need to be doing, because I forgot. I'm giving everyone a clacker right now, and I shouldn't be. So where is that clacker? He doesn't need that. And this guy, he doesn't need it either. But everything else he needs. So, looking down, where did I put his clacker? There she is. We can take that away. So this guy, I'm going to sync with this guy. We're going to right click, edit loadout, apply. Then this guy, adjust. First thing we'll do is we're going to take away his clacker, so I don't forget again. Boom, goodbye. And now this is where we want to ask ourselves, what do we want this light machine gunner to be? Now my mind says we either give him an RPD or a PK. This is where it gets really interesting. Now, do we want to give him the PK or the RPD? I'm thinking we're actually going to go in the middle and go for the RPK. Now, you're probably thinking why. And this is where it gets a little interesting, guys. A little method to my madness. Look at this. Now look at him. You notice something? Those magazines are interchangeable. This guy can also use AK magazines. The ammo compatibility is similar to how Blue 4 would have M4s with M249s. We get that similar synergy here with our weapons. And I think that would actually be really nice to have in terms of ammunition. So we're going to go with the RPK LMG. Something else we can really do, we put a bayonet on it. Why not? I'll check back and see what else I can do with that. But there we go. Boom. RPK. Good choice in my opinion. Now, follow-up question. What is in this guy's backpack, or his chest rig? Probably, oh, his handgun ammo, of course. So, 4 of those going into here. What would he have? Probably those explosive charges from that copy-paste, right? So put that away. And then he's got everything else. So we're going to delete that. And now we're going to go back to magazines. Going to give him 4 more. We'll give him some, we'll give him a smoke. 2 fackles. 2 F1s. And then everything else he should have. But boom, there's our LMG machine gunner. Now, Rifleman AT. This is where things are going to get a little interesting. So I'm going to copy and paste the machine gunner loadout. Another thing I forgot to do, let's actually go to his vest, because he's still got the masterpiece stuff on. We're actually just... Let's see, there's nothing here, like he'd have to go Rifleman, but this is going to lower his kit size, meaning we're going to have to change things up a bit. So we could fit a 3rd in there, but then no handgun ammo. So what we're actually going to do, he can't fit any handgun ammo out right there, so we're going to have to remove a belt. Put those 3 down. So going into this guy. He has some sort of disposable AT. So what are we going to do? The issue is there isn't really any AT he could use that's single shot disposable, so I might keep the RPG-26, but now I'm going to have to look up the date of when it was made. So we're going to type in Google RPG-26. There's an airsoft version. That's cute. 1985 to present. So don't really think we can utilize that. It's a bit out of our time zone. So what we're simply going to do is I am just not going to use his unit type. So another Grenadier Assistant. Interesting. Just select both of these. Copy paste. So Rifleman and Rifleman. Apply. Select right click these 2. Ace Arsenal. Take away a few things here. Number 1, his AK is good, but his uniform. vest. There we go. Rifleman vest. And his backpack we're gonna redo. Do 2 of those, 2 of these, 2 of those, 2 of those. And boom, there's our rifleman. Now we have our medic, and let's see, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-person squad. So we might want to switch out one of these riflemen for a marksman, and I definitely want to do an engineer if I can, but I might not. Instead, I might do a different role. So now I'm going to Google something else, but actually we'll Google that when we get there. I'm actually going to change one of these to a marksman. Simply because I think they need it for this terrain. So, SKS with the scope, or SVD, excuse me. God, no, we're going to give Kolechia SKSs. Uniform is good. Rifleman, we're going to change to sniper. Doesn't change the load type at all or anything. So 7 mags of that. We're going to actually lower that so I can put a second one on there. Easy, right? And then the medic. I'm actually going to take these 2. Right click, edit loadout, apply, edit loadout. Now there's no like carbine. We could do the AKMS actually. Same thing, you know. Question is, did it wipe his ammo type? And it did. So 6 of that. Yeah, so there's an engineer version of that, but let me sort by mod here, because I'm pretty sure there's a medical backpack, but it gives him less room, which is a bit mean of me, but nonetheless helps me limit their supplies a bit. Take away one of their smoke grenades so I can give them the pack. Now can I get this up to 50? Perfect. Perfect. Will there be checkpoints with civs in this game? That's a good question. I think we'll have a few checkpoints here and there and maybe some civs around as kind of an afterthought, but again, Papers, Please is all about a checkpoint. This is getting into the war behind it, you know what I mean? So this is a 9-person squad. Now this is where things are going to get a little interesting for me, because I'm going to do some research. Edit loadout. Ace arsenal. Sort by mod. Can't use any of those because there would be a weapon dependency issue. Even though I really want to use the AKM GP25. But wouldn't be able to. Instead we have to use something in Unsun. Which really, really tempts me to do something outside of the box here. There's no good like Op4 Grenadier weapon, you know? Like M79, that's too blue for-y, you know? M3 Sniper, that's so cute. So I'm just looking through all these weapons again. Oh, you know, if I really wanted to be mean, I could give him just a primary Scorpion as a weapon. But I think instead we're just going to do that, and then we're going to do this. And now let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I really think they need a second Grenadier Assistant? No. So this leaves us with 7. So MSV, Men, Flora. What would be good to add to this squad? We have a marksman, a machine gunner. You know what I think would be good, actually? A machine gunner assistant. So we're going to actually right-click, edit loadout, ace, apply. So I think actually the assistants are going to get the KMS. Grenadier assistant. Same thing. Ah, hold on. That's going to change his ammo type, though, for some stupid fucking reason. So we're going to have to, where there's blank areas, give him his ammo back. Grenadier assistant. Sort by mod. Let's see. It's more up. We're not going to do a folded one. Oh yeah, we got to check. You can put a suppressor on that? That's going to be cool for the tier 3s. Yeah, you can put a knife on the end. Even though I don't see that on his. Wait. So which one does he have? Hold up. Which one do you have, my friend? AKMS. Okay, with the folded out stock, and you can put a suppressor on it. Ace. AKMS. It's that one, but his stock isn't coming out. Maybe there's some variability here, because it also had a knife. I would expect Unsun to pull something like that. Fair. AKMS, no stock. So now we simply add that. But now this is where his backpack's going to get interesting. Now it is the AK. So in his backpack, he is only going to have ammo for his dude. So an extra 4 machine gun magazines. Yeah, so okay. When you spawn it, then it folds out with the stock. Alright, cool. So I think that's pretty cool. So they all have the same ammo type. The only different ammo type is the marksman. That should be good. So that is our primary Op4 squad. Let me also ace arsenal him. Is there anything I need to change? Nope, you're rifleman. Cool. That's a primary squad for Op4. I think we're going to continue this by making now the command squad. So Ace, we're going to edit out the loadout a bit, and I'm going to add some additional colored smoke to this guy. So some reds, some blues. Okay, I guess we'll do a red, a blue, and a green. This will be our, let's see. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. This will be ground, command. This will be JTAC. And now we need our Platoon Medic, even though this is a tier 1 op. I always like to keep them up. Let me also right-click these two. attributes, we're going to set them as medics and ace. So that doesn't matter, it's ace options. We're going to set them both to doctors. And now I'm actually going to grab this guy. This will be our AA specialist. Cool. So I'm going to link him first, because I always like to have the medic on the last part of the list. Let's change this guy up. So, he'll have an AK, sure, I'll keep that. His backpack, though, should be different. So here's what I'm actually going to do. Let's look in Unsun. I want to see what backpack they give their AA specialists. Unsun. Give me your AA dude, Mr. Unsun. Not your AA guns. That's another reason I wanted to make this mod set change, because we got the AA guns in Unsun. They're sexy motherfucking AA guns. Okay. Anti-air. That's why. So you just give him an art, even though that's the wrong warhead. Or did I spawn the wrong one? Nope, I didn't. Okay. So, what I am simply going to do is I'm going to give this dude the RPG carrier. The one with more weight. Delete all this because we are going to... Actually, that was a stupid idea. I'll show you why in a second. Because that gets rid of everything. If we want to delete it, we can just do this. Sort by mod. So the Strela, we'll give Arstoska the 2 M's, and we'll give Kolechia the regular ones. Because it looks like there's a bit better impact. Ooh, backblast angle. That is sexy. I didn't know that existed. Ha! the signal flare. Look at that. It has a 10-degree backblast angle. You learn something every day. So he can only carry 1 spare rocket in there. Yeah, even if we lower the amount, that's fine. And boom. That's our Arstoska people. So that's the command squad. Ah, shit. Well, let's unfuck the situation there. Oh my god, Link. Okay, and now Link. Cool. So Alpha, Bravo, Charlie Delta. Now we're going to need our Vic crews. So this is going to be simple. I'm just going to go into MSV, Infantry Flora, not EMR, Flora, and we're going to find our engineers, which I'm thinking we might just do drivers. And I might just rename them. Yeah, they don't need helmets. Why would they need helmets? Helmets are gay. And then literally just ace. We're going to take a look at 2 things here first. Their headgear is a field cap. You know, we'll give them helmets, fine. I'll be nice. Because what I'm literally going to do is I am going to do this. Edit loadouts, ace, apply. That'll give them literally everything they need, except we're going to change out their backpack. Scroll down. After we sort by mod, give them the engineer version. Clear that out. What we need is a toolkit. Awesome. We'll give them some spare magazines. And some extra smoke grenades. I guess everyone... I'm too lazy to change that all back. Some people just won't get binoculars, but I'll have an option for people to pick them up. Just be easy. Another thing I like to give the engineers, even if they'll be vehicle crews, defusal kits. Because you never know. Now, I'm not going to give the leader a long range. They can get that in the Vic itself. So, right-click, attributes, vehicle crew, and then advanced engineer. It's tier 1. So I'm thinking 2 vehicles would be good to transport. Because vehicle crew usually fills up very, very quickly. I'm going to start with 2 and then we'll gauge things. Because again, the first mission is going to be a paradrop. So it's not like vehicle crew is even going to be useful. Unless they like do a parachute, like they parachute a tanker. I don't know. We'd have to figure this out. Yeah, this would be an op run in about a week and a half from now, so 10 to 12 days, give or take. Not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. I'm just showing the build process of how I do things. So we're going to go 2 crew, and now we're going to need pilots. What I'm going to shoot for are some Op 4 helicopter pilots. Yeah. So we'll have a thing of pilots like this, and then for all of these, we're just going to right-click, edit ace, give them a short-range fackle. Or phatic, excuse me. Fackle's a grenade. I'm smart. $15, 2 of those, 1 of these, 3 of those, 3 of these. And then, I guess, some extra handgun ammo for your dumbass when you get shot down. And then they're probably also going to need some sort of smoke grenade. Which I can't even provide. Alright, you don't need cable ties. We can do away with 1 epi and 1 morphine. And the grenades are still too heavy. Okay. I'm gonna cut down on your magazine budget. Now can we store a grenade with you? We can. Blue smoke. Blue smoke usually represents LZs, so I think that would be good for logic. And there you go. That is all of the loadouts for Arstoska. So attributes. Playable. Now the final thing I do, back up here, edit loadouts, Ace Arsenal would be fine. What we're looking for is our Zeus. What the fuck did I just ding down on him? Fleeing coefficient, I am not a coward all the time. Oh, this is funny. I booped my ordering a bit. Oh no, I was right. Yeah, okay. And there you go, a standard platoon with vehicle support, air support, and a command element. Not bad. TSB pulls, they call Broken Arrow here and there. I think in the last 2, I think we have it once a month. The last one was the impromptu Monday operation a few weeks ago, concerning the local CB Clafgam patrol we did, and then the operation, the one before that where they called Broken Arrow, was the mission I intentionally had them lose in the Venezuelan Civil War, or Cold War scenario. So there we go, there's Op 4. Now let's get into some settings here. So, add-on options first off. This will be a Tier 1 operation for Legacy, which is our term for Cold War. So I'm going to hit OK on that. That loads all the imports I want, because I made those forever ago. And multiplayer. Custom position. Select respawn position, boop boop 5, save loadout, disable AI, dynamic groups enable. And general. This is where it's going to get interesting. Op 4 is hostile to Green 4, but I'm going to have Green 4 allied to Blue 4. And we'll get into Blue 4 later. Intro text will do a lot of custom stuff, but I have a feeling I'm going to probably make this into 2 streams. Because just the sheer amount of stuff you have to do for this sort of stuff. Now, what do we still have to do? We have to make enemy loadouts for at least Kolechia, and we have to make a fob for our guys to spawn in. Easy, right? So first we're going to work on Kolechia loadouts, and I'm going to now take a part of the map and use it as a quote-unquote debug corner. Similar to how I'm doing the Venezuelan Civil War, I've got areas where I have to build stuff. So, let's do this. Infantry, we're not going to do airborne infantry, these are going to be regular infantry, and we got a squad. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Battle Doctrine will have these guys be 10-man squads. I like it. Now, for the sake of reference, I always like to compare how my forces look to the enemy force. So that is a very close camo difference. You shoot the camo guys that are more brown than you. Okay. That could be taken as incredibly racist as well. I love it. Alright. Let's see how are we going to do this now? Because we are going to have a different looking faction here. Let's Ace Arsenal edit the loadout. I already talked about how I'm going to have these guys have slightly older equipment. More World War II-esque. However, with Unsun, that does not necessarily mean less OP. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to sort by mod for his primary weapon. We're going to go down to Unsun, and here's what I'm going to give this guy. Where is the goddamn PPSH? LMNOP. Boom. Yeah. This is a bitch of a gun. And its secondary, we're also going to make the Makarov. I think that would be pretty fine. Alright. Now we go into his loadout. We're going to do 15 elastic bandages, 2 cable ties, literally a player loadout. It's going to be carbon copy. 3 epinephrines, 3 morphines, and a clacker. But 2 tourniquets as well. I never put tourniquets in player loadouts. I put them in boxes for them to use if they want to later. Now, for this guy. No, because I was about to say I'll use regular rifle mags, but no, the enemy squads, they've got drum mags. So this guy's gonna have drum mags. Now his radio is going to be sorted by mod. We're going to scroll down, and he's going to have one of these AV radios. The assault back one, I love how it's still glitched out. And now it's all a matter of what matches his camo best. I guess we'll use the Coyote. So they're not going to live that long, so we can give them slightly less ammo. But I'm going to have them have smoke grenades, white, blue, green, some fackles, some F1 grenades. And this is where we now need to get a little interesting with our grenades. I'm going to randomize what grenades I give to enemy units. Why? Because I'm an asshole. Some Willy Pete, some napalm, some thermite. Okay, yeah. Sexy. Very sexy. Binoculars, sure. GPS, nope. Communication. They're gonna get gems. Actually, no, fuck, what's the... Gem is still op 4. The PNR is the, what's the fucking green for radio? Fuck. Well, when in doubt, you Google it. Let's see now. Go over to Google. Or if someone has the answer in chat, that would be nice too. So, Arma 3 TFAR green for radios. Oh my god, just tell me what it is. Don't give me guides on how to use TFAR. I know how to use TFAR. You little shit. Here we go. Okay. So I was right. The PNR is op4, so that means the gem. Yes, the gem is the fucking... I was right with my gut. We'll go with that. Excellent. He'll have a map and navigation. Will be fine. No launcher. And that is our squad leader. Interesting, no? Now, I want to take a basic rifleman here. Yeah, so labels won't matter because they're not player controlled. So let's take a regular rifleman, edit his loadout. First, let's go with his gun, sort by mod. Now, this is where I talked about the SKS possibly being evil, but now, it also depends. Yeah, so our marksman's going to be most Nagants, but our riflemen are actually going to be SKS dudes. No, where's my SKS? There we go. Sexy. With our 10-round clips. Hell yeah, we'll make it mixed so the player base will know if they're being fired on. We'll give them a Makarov handgun. We'll say Makarov himself, the tier 3 we all know and love, came into town and gave everyone a nice little handgun. Because why not? Now. An E-tool. Cable ties. 3 of these. 3 of these. 2 of those. Get rid of that. Three of those, and this leaves a lot of room. And I mean a lot of room for grenades. We'll give them some anti-tank grenades. Can never, ever go wrong with those. Let's see, some white smoke. A Fackle, and an F1. The fucking TNT grenade. Excellent. Let's give this dude a gem. That's honestly all he needs. Perfect, right? Now, so this will be our carbine weapon we give to weaker dudes, but this guy I'm gonna have a rifle and then machine gunners and stuff. Yeah, you know, just yeah. So let's right click, edit loadout, ace, cool. Attributes, set this guy as a beautiful doctor. Edit loadout, ace arsenal. Now, there was something in his vest that we could change, make it medical, cool. Now we're going to go to backpacks. He had some sort of carry-all on him. So we'll type carry. He had an olive one on, for whatever reason, so that's fine. We'll make these guys literal medic resupplies in the field. 10 of those. 10 of these. And there's his pack. Easy, right? Alright. Machine gunner. Edit loadout. Ace. Apply. Now, obviously, we're not going to give them rifles for their machine gun kits. No, 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 no. We're more evil than that. So, first off, let me see if there's anything here. We're going to give them some more room, because I'm a dick. I'm going to do olive field packs. And now, here's the real fun. What are we going to give them? Excuse me, for their machine gun. Something weaker than the RPD. We're gonna do the DP-25 LMG, baby. 47 rounds of pure fucking hatred. The only issue is, it has no muzzle velocity according to Ace. But I can virtually guarantee you that this gun will still fire and kill people. Why? Because reasons. Okay. Put 2 in there, and the rest will shove into his sweet little backpack. Now, he's gonna need some grenades. And what's better than some fucking Molotov cocktails? You see, those weren't just Molotov cocktails. He was actually drinking that, but fighting for his life, he's decided, hey, I'm gonna use it against them. Why did my voice just get epic? You shut your mouth. It's because it's coming. And we'll do a thermite grenade, because why not? And a TNT grenade. Why? Because I'm an asshole. Okay. So those are our 2 machine gunners. Awesome. Now we have our AT specialists. Perfect. Ace Arsenal this bitch. Actually, we're going to do something even better. Where's our rifleman? Rifleman. Edit loadout. Awesome. Apply. Now we're going to take these 2 bad boys and we're going to do some editing. I'm going to say they're going to have something different than an SKS. But then again, should they? Fuck it, we can do AK-47s. No scope, no suppressor, no nothing. Oh my god, with bayonets, the crazy bastards. I love it. I don't think those bayonets even do anything. We can test it later. Alright. Alphabetically. RPG 7v2. Perfect. We're not going to have them that. We're going to keep them short range. Naturally, the RPG pack. With 7 of these bad boys. Now back to their primary, we're going to have to give them some AK mags. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then some sweet, sexy grenades. This guy also had a Molotov cocktail. Why? Because why not? And then a V40 mini grenade. We're not going to ask where he got it, but he has one. Now, what else do I need to do? What are you? You're a GP-25 Grenadier. We already established that those don't exist in this time. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to take the 4 of you, right-click him, edit loadout. Hold up, it actually didn't select all of you. So you, with you, and him. Okay. Edit loadout. Apply. Now, I'll get to you in a second, but you 2 I want to change out for standard AKs. That made a bigger list than I thought. AK-47. Perfect gun for a perfect man. 4 mags of that. And he's got no backpack, so that's all he's gonna get. We'll do it 5 mags so they can at least last a bit longer. And then this guy. this guy's gonna get the Mosin Nagant. If I can find it. Begins with an M. Patsanabu. It's like a Mosin except shittier. That with the scope. This is our marksman. $10 clips, 50 bullets. Nothing extra. I like it. Now, don't we have a sniper thing? Yep, that gives him a little extra room, but not by much. Fine with me. So, that is a template. For squads, we got some SKSs, we have some Mosin Nagants, AKs, DPs, and a squad led with a PPSH. I think that's pretty good. But again, comparing the weapon loadouts here, a lot of these, you know, they've got some regular rifles and stuff. Everyone, at least on the player-based faction, is going to get an AK-47 of some sort. So everyone's going to have an automatic rifle, except for the marksman who has the SVD with a superior scope. What I'm trying to portray here is that Arstoska, based on what I've researched, has the better military because it has the better economy, and they're more fascist, so it would all make sense in my opinion. Now, follow-up. I'm gonna grab you and make a 3 group of you, because these guys are gonna be my fucking engineers. So we're gonna right-click, attribute, advanced engineer, right-click, edit loadout, and the one thing I'm going to add is just some backpacks. Specifically an olive carry-all, we're going to add the following things. 1, a defusal kit. That was the misclick. It's okay. 2, the toolkit. Perfect. Now we're going to follow this up with some specialty units. Right-click, edit arsenal. The Strela. And then this dude's backpack. We'll have the additional round. If only we could carry 2. Oh my god, I made it carry 2. Perfect. So that's awesome. Now we're gonna make an officer-looking motherfucker. Now, naturally, he should have a really cool, unique weapon to signify that he's an officer. Something that talks no nonsense. Something that speaks to everyone, saying I'm a badass. I'm, of course, not talking about the M3 carbine with the night vision. I am neither talking about the fucking... I don't even know, the big dick energy gun. No, no, no. He's probably gonna carry something very overpowered for his time, a unique AK. I love it. But he's also going to need a beret. If I can spell it right. Now let's find this beret. Ooh, a militia officer one. But this one fits him better. I like it. So to his vest, he's got an officer vest. I hope this is looking like a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's the deal about being an officer, though. You get the best perks, including first dibs on the spicy wind grenades. And when I say first dibs, I mean literally first dibs on the spicy wind grenades. Now, the player base is probably going to give me shit for him having that many. So we're going to give him some anti-tank grenades to cut the slack. Excellent. Also, I think we're going to do some fackles. Why? Because I'm a dick. Excellent. Now, I'll be right back real quick. I need to grab something of the utmost importance. Documents. Server passes. I have a document that contains a lot of important information, as well as scripts and codes. Son of a bitch, I don't remember what the independent would be. Well, okay, that part doesn't matter then. We'll do that part in a different video. That's fine. Let's talk about vehicles. What would this force have? It's 1970s. Oh my god, weaponized planes. Perfect. Probably not do Sky Raiders, but... maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Maybe when we get something else in. That's all. It wouldn't matter if the radios were not compliant. If anything, it would actually help the player base if they captured Vix, but still. Epic voice. Let's see what the Vietcon would have and try to base it off of that. T-34s. An excellent choice. Artillery, pod mortars. That's fair. 82mm. Ships. Not gonna lie, this isn't really a naval thing, but then again, it might be helpful. No, there would be no fucking reason boats would be in here, other than to be retarded. But then again, it's Kolechia, you never fucking know. Slimy bastards could be faking anything. Static AA would also be really interesting, but I'll keep that mission to mission. Right now we're just templating everything we want. Oh, a MiG-29 seat. Yeah, that's cute. Let's go to NVA here. Air. Honestly, I think they're gonna have similar planes and shit. Same with helicopters. This is where RHS is gonna have to fill in the gap, so I'm not gonna worry about aircraft yet per se. This is where we're gonna up the ante just a tad. So that is T-34-85. That's gonna be a player-based vehicle. That's the bitch with camo. What's the difference between the T-55 and the T-55A? Doesn't look like much, but that's okay. APC, sure. But both are gonna have the Shilka and the Sparka. Again, these factions are being modeled to be very, very similar. I'm gonna say the TO-55, that's gonna be a player-based exclusive. Artillery. Won't have to worry about artillery too much. BTRs are naturally going to be needed. What's the difference between the 57? We'll do that. Twin Dishka. Sexy. Actually, player-based exclusive. It should be good. Car AA. That's some evil shit. That's also going to be going into like AA sites and whatnot. Excellent. So we're just lining up everything I could potentially use to be an absolute asshole with. Because let's be honest, if I'm not being an absolute asshole, then what the hell is the point of playing this game? Repair, refuel, ammo. So those are our 3 ambient vehicles. Medical MI8, nice. And there's also that. But it has a gun on it, which means it's still a target, so... Interesting that we have that as an option, because that's against the Geneva Convention, but whatever. So this is where we're going to start. Let's look into Cherno Russian Defense Force, because there's going to be some more stuff I want to take. There we go. Anti-air. We already have the Shilka, so that's fine. But we'll have BTR 60s and 70s at our disposal. Artillery. That can be spawned in. Cars. This is another big thing. We'll have GMGs, HMGs, closed ones for transport. Another thing is the star pattern, but it's gonna simply be they'll play mind tricks, because if I go to attributes here, actually edit vehicle appearance, I don't think I can change anything. No, I cannot. So it's just gonna be a matter of shoot whatever the fuck isn't yours. Then we have some tricked out GMGs and HMGs. SPG-9. And then our UAZs. UAZ open. Dishka. AGS. SPG-9. Move that a little to the left. That's good for cars, IFVs. This is where it's going to be interesting. Time to go to Google. Let's look up some dates here. BMD-1. Hey, exhibits. We're just setting stuff up. Was first introduced in 1969. Totally usable. BMP-2, I don't think is usable. BMD-2. Yeah, 1985, we're not going to get into that shit. So, by proxy, the BMP-1 would also be usable. MRAPs, BRDMs were a thing. Perfect. This medical one, I'm going to put a little more to the left like that. It's good for convoys and stuff. Tanks, that's all covered right there, so it's perfect. Trucks, all covered right there, so it's perfect. Turrets, we do have bunkers now, but that's going to be mainly for defensive stuff. So, that is what we've accomplished. Templated everything I want to do for the enemy faction, engineers. I guess I could also do a pilot real quick. But then again, I'm going to be honest, don't even really need to. I just need to spawn a dude. That would be Air Force, yeah, so. There's the pilot. And then I can just stick him in whatever aircraft I want necessarily. Just the point of templating out up here is I can then copy and paste with the engineer crew I've made and then put them in any BIC. So, I'm going to stop using the movie voice for a second. Let's establish what we've done. We've set up how we're going to do this campaign. We've set up the initial border. We've made the player-based faction loadouts, and we've made the enemy loadouts, as well as set up what vehicles they'll be using. I'm going to cut it here because I think I've been working on this for a good amount of time. Again, this will be done in 10 days, but next video or next stream about this or stuff will be making the fob that Arstoska will spawn in, making some of the Blue 4 loadouts I plan to use for the United Federation and the EZIC, Zeke, I forget what they're called, the terrorist faction. And then maybe some civilian Green 4 fighters as well, with even lower grade guns. Because you know, in Papers, Please, there is a lot of civilian suicide bombings and civilian-based attacks on the checkpoint. And then if I need to make a third video, it'll be building the AO. So that should be good. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for chilling with me this fine Thursday morning. Go operate operationally. I'm going to work on putting up a YouTube video and scheduling some other ones for today. But otherwise, take care, guys. I hope you enjoy seeing this campaign get made. And otherwise, we'll be back later today for some VR chat. I hope I don't regret it.